We are back for week 13. I hope everyone got their fill of Thanksgiving turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and all the fixings, because I know I ate my weight in mac and cheese, and I hope you did too. My Panthers are still slipping. Shawn's Bucs are still winning. We got everything in between. Hit that subscribe button. It's nickel and dime. Shawn, you have a good Thanksgiving?
Man, I had a very different Thanksgiving than any other Thanksgiving that I have ever had in my life. But I tell you what, bro, it was phenomenal. It was pretty good. I can't complain.
That's what I like to hear, man. I saw you doing some hunting. Look at you.
Yo,
Look at
man,
you out there.
nailed my first buck, man. Nailed my first buck. One shot.
Look at you.
Hey, but it was an easier shot, but I still nailed that motherfucker.
Hey, man, I would have probably missed. I've probably been crying the whole time.
Yeah, that's
Please
the
don't
surreal
make
part.
Me pull the trigger.
You know, I didn't really have any remorse because I'm a sociopath. But you know, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Love it. All right. Well, let's get into our week 12 recap. We had some great games. Shawn, which Thanksgiving game intrigued you the most?
I'll be honest, like after everything was said and done, I think the game that delivered the best was the Cowboys and Raiders game.
Ooh, overtime.
Overtime, and right in the middle of the day too. So that's right when before everybody's too drunk, but like still eating. No fights have really happened yet. You know what I'm saying? And like you had a pretty good game. So like I really appreciated it. And no, Drew, I'll kick it to you right on this. Nobody thought the Raiders were going to win that game.
I never thought in a million years the Raiders would put up 36 on the Cowboys. 36. No. Derek Carr, 373 yards and a touch. Jacobs got it done on the ground, and the defense did just enough.
Yeah, they did. It made a couple of good special teams plays and stuff like that. So it took, and that's what I think the formula is going to be for the Raiders, Drew, because right now they had been losing that luster. It's going to take all three facets, and that team they might be a playoff team, but I don't think they're much more than that. But if everybody plays lights out, they can beat anybody, and I think they proved that on Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, it's definitely one of those years where no one wants it. So anybody can sneak in, man.
Yes. And shout to us on this, but we got to give it up to Deshaun Jackson, who we mentioned on this show could be the piece that they needed to replace Henry Ruggs, the speed element, 402 and that long touchdown on 4 targets. So very efficient. It's working out for both sides right now. So quick shout to us.
That's what he's going to have to do in these older years, get in, get out. Make your numbers, sit on the bench,
Get that check.
Well, we also had Andy Dalton throw for 317 yards and a touchdown as the Bears squeaked by the poor Lions.
Yeah, they did. And that game, I mean, I'm glad that, the Bears pulled it out for Nagy's sake. We can kind of stave off those rumors for maybe one more week, 1 or 2 days at the least.
Yeah.
But the Bears pulled it out. And do you feel for the Lions, Drew?
Yes, but at this point, I want them to keep losing for their sake.
Yeah,
like just keep losing. Yeah. Like get one in there. Yeah, I thought this was might be the one that they could get. Right. But just get one to make the fan base happy. Everybody else has 2 losses. Just secure that number 1 spot, figure out what's next, figure if it's quarterback, which isn't that great of a year to need a quarterback. I'm speaking really as a Panthers fan myself. But, sit back, get that number 1 spot and figure out what is next. Because I think Campbell's the right fit. He just got to get some people in there. Like, I hope they're not trigger happy on getting rid of the coach after a bad year.
No, I really am not getting that sense at all, because like usually when there's usually a groundswell that's coming from the fan base, and the fan base seems to be locked in on Campbell right now. And like people outside of the fan base are locked in on Campbell. And I think that kind of helps him as well.
Nice. Well, the nightcap of the game, the Bills just did work, took care of the Saints.
Yeah.
Is Josh Allen still just not right though? 260 yards. He did throw the 4 touchdowns, but he still had the 2 picks.
Yeah. I think it just might be a little bit. I think it's a little bit of expectations there too. It's just like, and you see the roller coaster that they're going through. Like they had a bad game before. What do they do in this game? Come back, destroy a team, and move on to the next week. And still throwing the 2 picks. It wasn't great, but they get it done. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's really all that matters.
I mean, at the end of the day, especially in 2021, a win is a win.
Yeah. And,
Still no rushing star for Buffalo.
No. And now Saints having quarterback problems, or are they? Because they want to pay this man like a quarterback anyway. But after a beat down like that, I would have some questions about the quarterback 31-6 on Thanksgiving in front of the nation.
Yeah. Do they step up and pay Taysom Hill $95 million?
They will cut his snaps just short enough to not pay that man that money. But no, I mean, at this point, is if you offered him the contract, 5 games, what is 5 games left in the season? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to see if he's worth it. So yeah, give him the 5 games, see if he could do something, and make it worth it.
Right. I mean, it might have had a whole nother dynamic, or he might be Cam Newton, but more on that in a little bit. Bengals behind Joe Mixon get it done handily in Pittsburgh or against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I thought Pittsburgh would put up way better of a fight than what they showed out, and I kind of feel bad for the players on that team, like a la TJ Watt. You know what I'm saying? Like he having to make excuses for that. And now people calling for Tomlin. Like it's all bad in Pittsburgh right now.
That's got to be tough, man. It's always tough when a storied coach isn't quite getting you the results.
Yeah.
And I mean, my man's won Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like that's always tough. Always tough. It's how it was when Panthers were looking at getting rid of John Fox. You know?
Yeah. And I just don't understand. Well, and that's a tough transition to be able to make, especially from somebody who has won a Super Bowl.
Right. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying comparing John Fox to Mike Tomlin either.
Yeah,
I don't need Steelers fans mad at me. Right?
Oh yeah, you know they show up, but no, replacing Tomlin is one thing, but they might need to figure out how to replace this running game, Drew. I mean, you're asking Big Ben to do something that he can't do at this stage in his career, throwing the ball 41 times. Yeah. Bro, they had less than 50 yards, or excuse me, like close to 50, just about 50 yards as a team, 4 running backs. With you know what I'm saying? Like, and Najee Harris only had 8 attempts. So that's the first problem. And shout to the Bengals, like they just beat the
I'm excited about the Bengals, man. I'm kind of low key pulling for them in the AFC. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. And they did it in kind of a multitude of ways. I mean, they were getting after Big Ben. They had 2 picks, and one pick six. So you know what I mean? Like that ain't good. What is Big Ben gonna do? Like, is this actually his last year?
It's gotta be. Would you come back from that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anything that you can show him on tape that'd be like, you know what? I think I got another year in me.
I tend to agree with that, man. And like, if you're Pittsburgh, do you want him back at this point?
Or do you want not like there's not any options on the team. You know what I mean? They're not going to hand it over to Haskins. Rudolph's proved time and time again it's not him.
Right.
Where do you go?
Where do you go?
Josh Dobbs' team. You know,
I mean, and that's the thing is like they have a couple of things that's attractive. Obviously, if Tomlin stays, that's the coaching continuity. There's pieces on the defense. The defense necessarily isn't the problem. It's just inconsistency if from what I see. So if you get somebody to stabilize that ship, a la free agent quarterback, veteran quarterback, does that put Pittsburgh right back in the mix though?
With that defense, it has to. You know what I mean? Like because I think the defense's problem is health. You know, like they are getting a little, you know, Watt's been in and out all year. And just that secondary has been banged up. Like, I think the Steelers have some great pieces on defense, and like a lot of teams in the NFL, they got to fix that O-line, and they got to figure out what's next in the quarterback spot. But I mean, wide receivers galore. You know what I mean? I truly think Harris is going to be good when it's said and done.
But, yeah. I don't think I'm worried about that, but it does. Honestly, it feels a little good and also a little bad. Like it kind of feels a little good to shit on Steelers for a while.
Oh, of course, they were on top for so long.
But I kind of feel bad for Steelers fans because there's a lot of y'all, apparently.
So many. But just sit down for a little bit. You know what I mean? Just relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Shawn, what's broken in LA? The Chargers lose 13-28 to the Broncos.
I think, Drew, it's definitely quarterback inconsistencies. You're getting the good and the bad with Herbert. I mean, he threw for 303 yards. He threw 44 times. I think you want that out of your quarterback, but
3 sacks though. And he was the leading rusher again.
Yes, and that's the problem, like the lack of a running game. Austin Eckler also only had 12 attempts. And
look at that average though.
And that's the problem. So maybe it's offensive line problems. Like maybe that's what's kind of making Justin Herbert so inconsistent. And I just don't know at this point because he can run. So I don't know if they just want to implement that into the game plan or if that's just like an emergency type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hats off to old Pat Surtain. 2 picks. The two Herbert picks were to Pat Surtain.
I think he is looking like a defensive rookie of the year candidate.
You think he can pass? He can pass Micah?
I think it should be close. You know what I'm saying? Especially you kind of have to credit the Denver defense for this resurgence here. I mean, like last year they weren't doing this, and like shout to Javonte Williams, your boy.
The 2-headed monster at running back, man. Yeah. Gordon and him were phenomenal.
And Drew, you have to call it a 2-headed monster because I mean, Melvin Gordon was the leading rusher. He had 17 attempts for 83 yards, and the healthier yards per carry. So Javonte got
I like how they take turns on different weeks. You know what I mean? You need that.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that's what we get in Buffalo with Singletary and Moss and Breida, but what is good? It is the year. It is not the year of the running back. That is for sure.
Yeah, because they keep getting hurt, and that's the problem. Is you need? I think with all these top running backs going down and like being out for lengthy periods of time, it just goes to show you shouldn't devalue the position. You should just get 2 really good ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just don't have the workload be too much.
Yeah,
on either or. Well, we're going to get into some more recaps later on because we're going to do an AFC check-in and an NFC check-in. So let's get to housekeeping.
All right.
Talk about running backs. I got plenty of them that are hurt. We'll start with offensive line. Browns right tackle Conklin out with a torn patella tendon. Ow.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That's at least a year. You remember that's what happened to Cadillac, and you saw how.
Oh, poor cat. Oh, he never was the same.
Yeah, I mean it's a little different because it ain't 2005 now, but it's still it's a tough one to come back from. It's a long one.
Well, it just hurts me. We're gonna get more on this later, but Christian McCaffrey out on the IR. We're gonna talk in depth about what needs to happen with him going forward here in a little bit. Vikings running back Dalvin Cook dislocated shoulder. So we'll see when he can return. They didn't give any time on him yet.
Right.
Cowboys McCarthy, the old head coach, and also Steelers TJ Watt both placed on the COVID list. So if they come back in time for Sunday. No, I think Cowboys play Thursday, right? So Conklin, he's out for that.
Yeah, he's
McCarthy's out for that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not what Cowboys need right now in the middle of a skid. Jags tight end Dan Arnold knee. He's placed on the IR.
Yeah, I mean Dan Arnold is he's injured, but I don't think he was doing too much anyway. Like big expectations before the year started, but his season did not go according to plan. So
No, I thought he was
hopefully
going
he
to
can
be
come
a
back.
big part of Carolina's offense. But hey,
Yeah.
what do I know this year, huh? Kingsbury's hopeful that Hopkins and Murray both return Sunday. So that'll be fun for Arizona fans to get their boys back.
Yep.
Ravens linebacker Patrick Queen, who's been playing very well lately, has a rib injury. So we're going to see. It's kind of play if he can play kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
it's like a day-to-day game time decision.
Yeah. See how much pain he's in, because ribs don't heal that quick. So
no, especially like for that position as well. And they, like you said, we got to give a shout to him because I was kind of down on him, and he's been playing well. The whole defense has, and shout to them. Yeah, they have.
Oh man, about it. That hurts. Bills defensive back White tore ACL, done for the year.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, obviously, you know what Trey White brings, and for a defense that has been good, but here recently hasn't really been kind of doing what they need to do. Their top corner going down is not good. It's not good and doesn't bode well for the long term.
This opens the door for Mac and the Pats. Bridgewater dealing with a shin issue, but he did return. So we'll see, kind of keep an eye on that. You don't really hear a lot of quarterbacks getting shin injuries, That's a new one.
Nah, Matt, somebody probably did. Somebody cleat him, Drew. Somebody cleat him.
I guess that's the only thing I can think of, unless you got shin splints or something. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's week 13, so let's talk about it. We had quite the AFC mix-up last few weeks.
We did.
Top teams just don't want to keep winning.
And I don't understand it, Drew. Like, I don't understand when you have these opportunities against these bad teams. Why don't you take advantage? Is it just like a lack of preparation that week? Is it just, I don't understand, because a lot of these teams you expect to have that continuity, and there's no rhyme or reason, like teams with good coaches, teams with solid defenses, great offenses, and they just, I don't know.
Yeah, you got the Steelers on a 3-game losing streak. Chargers can't get right. Browns are just skidding away.
They're a 500 football team.
Yeah, the Colts went back to losing. You know what I mean? But then you got teams like the Patriots that are on a 6-game winning streak. You got the Chiefs on a 4-game winning streak, and you got the Ravens, despite Lamar Jackson's 4 interceptions, still finding ways to win.
Yeah, it's and really shout to the Patriots, bro. Like, shout to the Patriots. And it's like they're just doing it, and I think it's definitely the defense. I have to give credit to the defense for this whole resurgence, but Mac Jones is getting a lot of the headlines because he's just not messing it up. And like,
that's
honestly,
all you gotta do, kiddos. Yeah. You young quarterbacks out there, just don't mess it up.
And to be honest, like in this game, they put more on Mac than I thought they would. Drew, he had 32 attempts for 300 yards, so he's showing you he can do
300-yard game. Look at
300-yard game.
Look at that,
two
man.
Two TDs, no picks. So Mac Jones doing it. And when you look at the tail of the tape of this game, Drew, what sticks out to you? It's just,
it's the Titans letting Mac Jones throw for 300 yards.
Well, yeah. Nah, and I gotta be honest, that's gotta be one of them. To me, it's that the Titans lost this game and ran for about 270 yards.
Right. Look at Dontrell Hillard out there. 131 yards. Deontay Foreman had 109 yards. Like, you got it done. And then you look, Ryan Tannehill threw for 93 yards.
Yes. Yeah. And long runs. Like, and I don't, they must have just saw something. I don't know what they saw on the tape, but you see that number, it kind of throws you off. But they had, both running backs had costly fumbles that put the team in horrible spots. And then Ryan Tannehill just didn't play well. You know what I mean?
To be fair, his leading receiver was Nick Westbrook, Akeen.
Something. Yeah. Akeen. Yeah.
25 receiving yards. No AJ Brown. Yeah. No Julio Jones.
Nope.
Ferkshire had 1 catch for 7 yards.
And this is
then
for
you don't really know anybody else on the squad.
So all the Anthony Ferkser truthers, please sit down. They need more from the tight end position.
Yeah.
And they honestly they had it a couple years ago. I don't know what happened there, but had to let some people go, some people retired, whatever. But you're right, Drew. No AJ Brown, no Julio Jones. I don't know what happens with that situation. But you need consistency, and they aren't helping them out with no receivers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Cody Hollister can't get it done. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yes, it ain't that type of show. It ain't his show. You know what I'm saying? And then on the other side of the ball, man, like talking about not having names, these Patriots receivers are just they do their job, which is exactly what Bill Belichick wants them to do.
Myers, Kendrick
You know
Bourne,
I mean?
Brandon Bolden had a good receiving game. Jonnu
Yep.
Smith showed up for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Aguilar said, "I can still catch the ball."
So it really had to be on the defense because everybody did just enough, but like it wasn't like the Patriots rushing game was doing a whole bunch. It wasn't like you had some top tier receiver just taking the top off the defense. So, but talking about defense, that's exactly what it was. And Tennessee had no answers for it.
No, and no receivers to play catch with Tannehill's gonna do that to you.
Right.
Well, how you feel about down the street in Cleveland? How you feeling about their they picked Lamar Jackson off 4 times. 4 times and got 100-yard receiving from Jarvis Landry for the first time in a hot minute. They had Hunt back, they had Chubb back, but then they only had 40 yards rushing.
Yeah. And I know you frustrated, bro, because you had Nick Chubb. That fantasy
all I had to do, I needed a decent game from him and I was going to win. That's all I needed.
That's all you needed, and you didn't get it. And I thought it was over. 8 rushes for 16 yards for Chubb. And you're right. They had Jarvis Landry had a 100-yard game, had a costly fumble though. And I think you were talking about it in our group chat, man. But Baker Mayfield, I mean, just speak on that because like I don't know what to do at this point. Like
18 for 37. His average pass 6.7 yards.
That's not going to get it done, especially against a Ravens team who, arguably keys very well on the rush. So you knew that coming into the game. So it's in the tail of the tape is you had a 100-yard receiver, so it was there. But I just don't. And the defense did their job, bro. It wasn't like they gave up 30 points. They gave up 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you needed the offense who could get more than 10 points. And at this point, you have to ask the question, Drew, is the better quarterback on the bench right now?
You think it's Case Keenum time? Think it's Case Keenum time in Cleveland?
I don't think you can go into the next game and not think about that. But what does that say for Baker though? Is it like if
it's a contract year? My man is in a contract year.
Yes.
I don't know if that contract's coming from Cleveland.
I don't think.
Oh, it just ran through my head. Through my head. It would be the ultimate just.
Right.
What if next year Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Wow. Yeah.
Talk about storylines.
I could see that happening. I don't know how Pittsburgh will feel about it, but like if the fans, I don't know how they would feel about it, but I could definitely see that happening because like, I mean, if you need a veteran quarterback, I don't think with this quarterback market, you go get a rookie. I think you have to get a vet, especially if it's not Big Ben, and he might be the best of the bunch.
And isn't Cleveland trigger happy with getting rid of people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a reason he hadn't got a contract yet.
They do leave unceremoniously.
Yes.
In that part of Ohio. But no, like, I mean, Drew, the defense did their jobs. I just wanted more from Baker, so we had to ask the question. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I'll ask you this, and we'll move on to the NFC.
Right.
More likely to make the playoffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Cleveland Browns or the 4-game win streak Miami Dolphins?
like I'm still gonna go Cleveland. I'm still gonna go Cleveland just because, I mean, talk about inconsistencies. Like Cleveland's highs have been way higher than Miami's highs, but the highs and lows for Miami, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like as a team, if I had to bet on somebody, it's probably gonna be Cleveland over Miami at this point, just based on talent. So I gotta go there.
Even though they are number 12 and number 13 respectively in the AFC right now.
And both the Dolphins on a 4-game winning streak.
Both no more than 1.5 games out of that last playoff spot.
Which is the crazy thing, man. I'm like, I was just looking at this earlier, Drew. That 7th seed, like, I don't know how we did this before, but when there was only 6 seeds, everything seemed like it was locked up relatively early. Right. But this 7th seed has like chaos. 4 or 5 teams like in it. Like, and they are,
yeah. And the Bills better watch it. Bills, Bengals, and Chiefs are all watching their backs too, because they're a 1 game better.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the crazy thing, man, is like, I love that. Really, you have to look at it on both sides, AFC and NFC. It's going like 10, 11, 12 deep at this point. So a lot of football left to be played, man. Like, for real, bro. It's crazy.
Well, as a transition into the NFC check-in, we got to address it. What in the world is going on with my Carolina Panthers? Christian McCaffrey done for the year. And I was worried. I told Laura this. I was like, the Miami, I want to win, but the last thing I want is Cam to have a bad game and we lean on CMC too much and he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
And look what happened. What, Cam Newton go 5 for 24?
Yeah, it was like I saw when they pulled him, was it like 5 for 22 interceptions and 92 yards, and it was just like,
bruh, I don't want to hear not a near nada from no other Carolina Panthers fan. I don't want to hear nothing from Drew. Why are you not excited about Cam Newton? Because 5 for 21 for 92 yards, 2 interceptions, and he was sacked. And when Cam Newton takes a sack, it's not for 3 yards. It's not for 4 yards. It's for 14 yards.
It took this man all of 2 seconds to be like, see, told y'all, this is why Drew was on this horse.
Oh, but Cam can run. He ran 3 times for 5 yards.
Yeah. And got benched. And I think, honestly, take your victory lap, Drew, because I could see if this happened.
It hurts me too much. I don't want to take the victory lap. I wanted to be wrong about this.
As a fan, yes, that's the right answer. That is the politically correct answer. It is the right answer. It's the true answer. But I could see if you weren't like, you wouldn't be as mad if this was like 3 or 4 games. It'd be close to the playoffs, but just follow me here. You would be less mad if this is 3 or 4 games into it and Cam was benched. But it's like, bro, it's 2 games. He was back for 2 games. And it's that experiment has already taken a drastic 180.
It's so, Cam played so bad that the hot news coming out of Panthers Twitter today was Sam Darnold was seen throwing on the sidelines.
And they like Sam Darnold injury news is out now because they are monitoring that situation. I saw that. So, yeah.
The only thing I'm excited about in Charlotte right now is J.C. Horn was back on the field. That's all I care about.
Ooh, yeah, maybe that defense gets back up.
But at the point, why even bring him back this year? Well, we're not. I hate to break it to you, Carolina Panthers fans, because it hurts me and it's the truth I had to come up with today. We're not going to win without CMC.
If he was a second year, third year, I can see that, but he is a rookie.
Just let him come to practice. Let him keep learning. Let him keep mixing with that the defensive backs and the linebackers and the whole defense. But do not rush that man back for 5 and 7 football.
That's the key. Don't rush him back. But if he's healthy, man, I think you got to play him because you can't simulate game experience, though. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's just fair.
And you'd want him for next year when y'all are healthy and you get a full off season to get some pieces in there
with a new quarterback and possibly the way things are trending and the way people are talking, new coach.
Ooh.
People are not as high on the rule man as much as they were.
Yeah,
that seat is warming up.
Damn. Early.
Yeah. let's check in with the rest of the NFC. Take it away, sir. Your Bucs looked rough early on, but came back, took care of business against the Colts.
Yeah, and honestly, they really needed it. The Colts needed it a little bit more. So there's a lot of questions that I think the Colts have to answer now, especially after beating the hell out of the Bills just a week before. You know what I'm saying? But tough stretch. But y'all were also at home. But the Bucs gave up 21 in the second quarter, bro, to this Carson Wentz, that Carson Wentz. I was way nervous. I mean, we had some injuries. Vita Vea got a tooth knocked out.
And he was happy about it. That psychopath was happy about it.
Hey, you gotta pay the cost to be the boss, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the tooth is. Hey, we don't need this. Let's win games. But he was wrecking, bro. And that's the thing is like they shut Jonathan Taylor down. He get.
I love that shutting him down is 83 yards and a touchdown. But I agree with you. I agree with you though.
Yes. But this is what I'm saying. So before the third quarter, Drew, he had 20. I think he had like 26 yards on like 8 attempts. You know what I'm saying? Devin White gets hurt. We'll see. But he did come back into the game, a la Teddy Bridgewater. But he wasn't the same. And like once he came back into the game, that's when that drop happened. So
gotcha.
But either way, shout to Antoine Winfield Jr., pick of the year. Not really, but I'm biased. Not really. 5'7". You realize though, which I love to see, Drew, that this is legacy on legacy action. Antoine Winfield Jr. getting a pick on Michael Pittman Jr. You know what I'm saying?
Are you happy your boy Fournette had a day?
4 TDs, man. I didn't expect that. Fournette is the clear cut number 1 back in that system now that he's catching passes. I think he dropped like 44 points. He's the only reason I won this week. Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, that guy.
I mean, Bucs get Atlanta next, and then after that it's the Bills. So we'll see what happens in these next 2 weeks, man. But a lot of questions for the Colts. And they need it, bro, because they're right on the outside right now.
Yeah, you see what happens. Carson Wentz throws for 300 yards and you lose.
That's the crazy thing, man. That's what they've been wanting from that man. They like he was dicing them up, and Frank Wright maybe just had a little bit too much trust in that man.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about the other big game in the NFC? Packers take care of the Rams. Rams got that all-star, all-Madden squad, and they keep losing.
Yeah. And listen, man, I mean, talking about taking victory laps, your boy did mention that
boy called it.
Those Rams might be I think I had them as a 7th seed, but I just, for as much as I do like Matthew Stafford, you can't put all those bad years in Detroit on everybody else. Like he had to be at some fault, and like he is still that guy that's capable of not doing what you need him to do, even though his highs they can be really high. So you got a little bit of that last night. Defense obviously struggled a little bit, and go back and watch last episode, because when we talked about this game, we said that and this is why I picked the Rams to lose, shout to me. But I said that if it becomes a shootout, I trust Aaron Rodgers at home in a shootout.
It was, got some positives for LA though. Odell Beckham, 5 receptions, 81 yards and a touch, but he was targeted 10 times.
Yeah.
You got Van Jefferson that stepped up, had 93 yards and a touchdown. There are some good things going forward with this LA team.
Yeah.
But I did love the shade. Devontae threw at OBJ when he's like, let me get a jersey. And he's like, go get Cooper Kupp's jersey if that's who you want to be with.
Yeah. I mean, like, it probably, he said it jokingly, but there was definitely some truth to that too. Like, could have been on the winning side, OBJ. You had your chance, man. You had your chance.
But here's the great thing about the NFC right now. Well, I mean, I say great loosely.
Right.
The Rams are still the 5th seed in the NFC on a 3-game lose streak.
On a 3-game losing streak. Man, this NFC West, man.
Niners are there. And I mean, Vikings are still in it. You know what I mean? Like we got to see what we got to touch on it real quick. And I don't. Kirk Cousins lining up behind the guard on 4th down. Like,
I mean, okay. So what's worse, Drew? Kirk Cousins lining up behind the guard or Tom Brady's 4th down? Like, what's worse?
I mean, I still love just the visual of it.
Four horsemen.
But also the guard turning around on Kirk Cousins, like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, because he ain't used to get his balls tickled during the game.
So I got to hang out with a bunch of former Appalachian State offensive linemen this week at my brother-in-law's wedding. He was an App State lineman when they made the change from destroying everybody in the FCS to jumping up to the FBS.
Nice.
But I didn't know the center wears a special girdle so the quarterback doesn't feel some things. So really? I'm sure Kurt felt some things when he lined up under the guard and not the center.
Yeah. Well, and this is the crazy thing. Like in my former life, this is the only experience I have. But when I played Little League, I was a center, man. I was a center. And it was even at that age, like, you know, however old I was, 9, 10, whatever, when you feel a hand on your balls, there's anything, and it like knuckles, you know what I'm saying? Like knuckles right in your crotch.
Like,
I would imagine that for as many centers as there are out there, not everyone is wearing a girdle. So I say that to say it was not abnormal for Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he had a couple things on his mind, you know.
That's fair. Well, I mean, I'm sure you're cheesing because your Saints lost again. They're on a 4-game losing streak. But yet still in 9th place. So still not out of it. That's what pisses me off more about Panthers losing to Miami. Right. Is you're the 7 seed with the win. You're in the playoffs. You're doing what you brought Cam in to do. Yeah. If you win, you didn't win though.
And that's the like. And maybe we got to touch on it a little bit here if we can find time. If not, stay tuned to the next episode. But this playoff, this playoff picture, man. I mean, talking about Miami,
it pulled up, man. Yeah,
they're 5-7. They're on a 4-game win streak at 5-7 and not out of it. And it's just like, and talking about the NFC West, Drew, for every like battle that the NFC West is having, this AFC West is now tight because the Chiefs are trending up. Chargers
Raiders
trending
win
down.
Every now and then when they
Raiders win and make it interesting. And Denver beats teams that they shouldn't beat.
Yeah, look at that. All 4 AFC West teams are in the top 9.
Yep, it's going to get very, very interesting. And then
can't lose those games, man.
That you can't. And Cleveland is in. You mentioned it earlier, bro. Like Cleveland is in the 12th spot right now at 500. So with 5 games left to play, say they go on a run where they sitting at, they're in the playoffs. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to think there's 16 teams in the AFC. You got to think the Jets, Texans, and Jaguars are out. Every other team is very much alive. So you got 13 teams battling for 7 spots.
Yep. And we're all better for it. We're all better. Get good.
And I mean, it's not like the NFC. You got. I mean, it's so weird. It's so weird for me to say the Seahawks are out of it, but they are.
Right. It feels.
And of course, the Lions are. The Bears are 4-7. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So you got to think there's 15 teams in the NFC that are battling for those 7 spots.
Well, you want to know what the crazy thing about it is, Drew, is I feel like on the NFC side, I'll give the AFC credit. I think they are a little bit more stacked, the teams that can make it, but the NFC, like for example, you did just mention the Bears, and they are very much alive, but with that whole Nagy situation, like I think they're dead. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they're done. We called the Saints. Saints tune out. We love y'all. We love y'all. But you're done. We told you that weeks ago, and that's why I say it's old news. Like it doesn't even make me happy anymore because you're done. But yeah, I mean, how deep does it go? Philadelphia, Carolina is still very in this thing. Every team in the NFC South is still in it. I'm sorry, based on the numbers, y'all boys catch fire. Yeah, and I would say with Carolina right now, man,
PJ Walker gonna do it?
Yeah, I think y'all might be done.
If we went to the playoffs with PJ Walker and Chuba, I would lose my mind.
I mean, but at that point, America's on your side because that what a Cinderella story that would be.
Hey, the Braves won the World Series and they didn't have the stars, so
yeah,
I feel like baseball is a different sport though.
Drew, just a quick question: if you get in the jersey from the Braves, who you get?
If they re-sign Freddie, I got to get Freddie.
Freddie Acuna.
Freddie Freeman.
That his name?
No,
oh yeah,
Ronald
I don't know.
Yeah, I want Ronald Acuna. Yeah. I love that dude. But it did hurt that he got hurt and missed the World Series. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
I wouldn't mind an Albies jersey. Albies is my dude, a little second baseman. You know, but
right.
I really wanted Freddie Freeman. I wanted to be a second baseman. I just wasn't fast. Wasn't built for second base. You know what I mean?
All right.
Shawn, I got to run one by you real quick before we move on to our matchups. How would you feel about a Bucs Patriots Super Bowl?
Ooh,
Belichick.
I would part two because we got it this season, and that is why, Drew, I would be very scared of that because that means we see him Belichick for the second time.
He's got y'all on tape.
And he's got us on tape. And you know when it's talking about tape when it comes to Belichick and Super Bowls, so
he loves his tapes.
Maybe that's 3 shots he might get. You know, so like it will make me very nervous.
We'll get the ultimate, was it Brady or Belichick answer, that's for sure. Because we all know the true answer is both of them. You know what I mean? Like, who was the key to the Patriots? We know it was both of them.
It's fun to say, though. It's fun.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, what matchup you got your eye on this week?
Oh, man. Like, to be honest, there's 4 matchups. We talk about pre-production. There's 4 matchups that we were looking at, and I think this one is definitely top 2 or 3, but Drew, I am going to have to go with the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, we were just talking about the AFC West, how tight it is.
Who are these Broncos? Who are these Broncos? I'll tell you what, they're a team that has a young defense, a
good defense,
a good defense. They lost a star who is not doing very well on the other team. I mean,
an aging star,
but and didn't seem to skip a beat. And now they're sitting at 6-5. They have an opportunity to beat a hot Chiefs team right now on a win streak. Chiefs are at home.
It's a Sunday night game too,
bro. That is a different place when the Chiefs are at home in prime time, no less. So you know Patrick Mahomes is going to want to show out. Teddy, we got to see what's going on with Teddy though, Drew.
But Drew Lock didn't look terrible.
He didn't, and maybe that's a sign that the offense is kind of getting right because both quarterbacks, even though they didn't do a whole bunch, was very efficient, and they relied on the defense. And for as hot as Kansas City has been, I'm sorry, but they weren't that way all the time. So like they are susceptible to being beat, even at home. And right now, it really, I want to see how this. I want to see the matchups. I want to see where is Surtain, who's he lining up against? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they going?
You got to think he's going to be on Hill, right?
Well, I think I don't think he's that. He ain't that fast, but I would put him on him, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they might have to double him and just let everybody else fall by the wayside. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But they can do it right now. Go ahead.
I mean, because they got Darby, they got Kyle Fuller.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure Justin Simmons ain't gonna be too far away. You know what I mean?
And maybe you put like Fuller and Simmons on them. You know what I'm saying? In man matchups. But overall, Drew, we talked about that, like how good this defense is right now. They're third in the league in points against per game. Wow. You know, 17.8 points a game, my guy. Like
that's how you win with Teddy Bridgewater.
That's how you win with Teddy Bridgewater.
Didn't have that last year. So
they did this year. So had they not tinkered with the quarterback position, safe to say Carolina might be in the better position than they are.
Oh man, can you imagine if we still had Teddy Bridgewater and we weren't paying his replacement to play?
And paying Teddy.
We're paying 3 quarterbacks and we ain't got no quarterback.
Yeah, so that's why y'all should
4
definitely
quarterbacks.
not go in
Probably
the
still
quarterback
owe
market.
Will Greer money too at some point. I don't know.
Yeah. But that's going to be the key matchup for me, man, is how they attack. Can this offensive continuity? They've been getting back to getting Kelsey the damn rock. How do they defend that? And Edwards-Helaire is now back. I want to see if he can have a good game too. I'll start his ass this week, maybe. Sitting on my damn bench. But this is going to be one of the better games, and I think that's why they have it on Sunday night, Drew.
I like it. Well, my matchup also involves an AFC West team, but I have the matchup of the two quarterbacks from last year's draft that everyone's still talking about. I got the LA Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, okay. Drew, hey, he is all in on this chart. Where the Chargers going?
I want to be all in, but then they let me down. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, like, get it together. Eckler needs to run the ball. The Mike Williams has completely disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Is that why, because of the roller coaster that the Chargers have been on, is that why this is one of your intriguing matchups going up against this team?
Yeah, because at any given point, the Bengals cannot show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It could happen.
Like,
they're a young team.
Like, the Chargers have done great things. They've beaten teams like the Browns and the Raiders. They beat the Chiefs early on in the year, but then they lose to the Vikings and the Broncos.
Right.
So which team are we actually going to get?
Yeah. And that's the problem. We were talking about it earlier in the show, but like, no team wants to be great. And the Chargers, when they came out the gates firing, they had a chance to be great this season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the inconsistencies hit them. Injuries, yes, disappearing at times. Keenan Allen honestly has been very consistent. Maybe they're not going his way. The rushing game haven't Eckler's been a monster in some games, and then other games like, yesterday he wasn't shit. So
yeah, and Mixon can run all over these boys too, so they got to watch out for that.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Mixon finally living up to what he does, or what he did back in college, man. But this is going to be an intriguing game too. I need to see more from the Charger rushing defense though, and that is going to be the problem. They got to stop mixing. Yeah,
they got to step up. They got to cover those receivers too, because Cincinnati's got some damn receivers, man.
Yeah, and then it's like, Herbert can pass, but also like that's also kind of going up against what the Bengals have a good secondary. You know what I'm saying? Like you just alluded to it. I think that's what damn sure helped them against Pittsburgh and those receivers, even though, Claypool had a sort of resurgent game, but
they need Jackson or Kelly to step up and take a little pressure off Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
They got to. Jared Cook's got to get more involved. I know he had a touchdown.
It was late. It was going off. You know what I'm saying?
Like Parham's a great receiver, tight end too, man. Like, I don't understand why they're not. Yeah. Like, for so many plays with the Chargers, they look like Herbert's just over there looking for who in the world am I going to throw it to? But you got some options. So
and I think know what's going on. At this point, like, you just have to give it up to the Bengals. Like, they're 7-4, but they're a complete team. And the Chargers just have been inconsistent. But for everything that we just talked about, they still have an opportunity, and they are a team capable of beating a complete team.
Everyone's got an opportunity. Who's going to make the most of it?
We just talked to Drew. They got to win, bro. They got to win. If they want to stay in this AFC West race, they have to win.
Yeah. So, I mean, as much as we think the Bengals are acting like a first place team in their division, they still got to get through the Ravens, because as inconsistent the Ravens have been stat wise, they still win. I know I caught a little bit of flack for having them high up on our midseason power rank list. Guess what? They still in first place in the AFC.
Number 1 seed. And that's the crazy thing is, like, for as inconsistent as they've been, it's kind of hard to envision them as a number 1 seed right now, but that's what they are. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, 4 pick ass throwing Lamar is in charge of a number 1.
Put Huntley back in
the AFC. That guy, it's somebody down there saying that.
Oh, there is. Which is hilarious to me.
Huntley truthers.
All right, well, let's switch gears to the AFC East for our marquee matchup, because everyone thought this was going to be the Bills' year, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
But guess who is in first place right now, that's the New England Patriots.
It's who was in first place a lot of the time. So you probably, somebody could have guessed, you know what I'm saying?
So
Like somebody
much
who
for a
doesn't
couple
watch
of down
football at
years,
all.
huh?
Right. Right back. And I think we get lucky this week, Drew, because both of, two out of our three intriguing matchups are the primetime games this week. You know what I mean?
So, it's going to be great, man. I'm so excited. I really am not that hyped about tonight's Monday Night Football, but next week I will be for sure.
Yeah.
Because you know what's not going to be good for Josh Allen slumping? Playing that Patriots defense.
Damn straight. And on prime time too. JC Jackson is coming for your boy. And Josh, I mean, like, he needs to have a good game. Judon's he is a monster, bro.
Low key should be in the running for defensive player of the year.
Yeah. And honestly, like, his sack dance to me, like, is probably one of the best sack dances. Just like it's almost like sort of like if you smell what the Rock is cooking, like wiping your nose. I don't know what it is, but it's baller.
I remember catching it earlier in the year and be like, what was that?
Yeah. I wipe my nose with you, sir. Nah, it's kind of crazy, bro. But like, Josh Allen's got to play well, and good for them that they're at home, Drew. Good for them that they're at home.
Yeah. You know what would be great is if Singletary showed up. Maybe Breida gets some touches. Maybe Zach Moss. Is Zach Moss hurt? He didn't even play against the Saints.
No, so I think they are sitting him, or there's something going on there. I'm not quite sure, but
is his time in Buffalo coming to an end?
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there, but Breida gets and rightfully so, because we've all saw what Breida could do before he had injury problems was with San Francisco. I even picked him up on my fantasy team because I think it's highly likely he gets volume.
Especially Singletary just doesn't put out.
But it for as much as we want to make it about the quarterbacks, Drew, this is going to be a defensive game. You know what I'm saying? Like Mac getting, I mean, you know what the Patriots defense is going to do, but the Bills defense has also been pretty good numbers wise. And I want to see, they're going to need to do something to slow down that Patriots offense. I
want to see who steps up in the secondary with
Trey Whiteout.
Yeah.
And it's, good on them though. I will say good on the defense because the Patriots don't have a marquee receiver, so maybe it won't be as much of a test as it is against some other teams.
But they're going to be spread thin, I feel like, because they got to worry about Bourne and they got to worry about Jonnu and Hunter Henry and Jacoby Myers. Like and stop me if you've heard this before. There's not one player on the Patriots that are going to hurt you. The whole team's going to hurt you.
Yes,
because you key in on one guy. Like they haven't had a true stud since Randy Moss left.
Yeah, and that's the why they're almost impossible to defend. And the crazy thing about it is this for as many numbers as the Buffalo defense has been putting up, they still need more sack production. That's what they're not getting, and that's what you want to do against a rookie quarterback. But right now,
you mean your boy Greg Rousseau isn't getting it done?
Not largely in the sack department, maybe in pressures, you know what I'm saying? Maybe in pressures, but not in the sack department. They're 25th overall, man. Mm-hmm. But the rest of the numbers are pretty good. And for exactly what the Patriots aren't good at, what you saw on Sunday, rushing defense,
they don't really a run stopper,
they really, well, no, I'm saying the Patriots defense is good.
Gotcha,
you know what I'm saying? Like they just gave up 270 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But Baltimore's not in a position to take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? So
Patriots I dare you to run it. They're like, we can't.
Yeah. Did I say Buffalo? Did I say Baltimore? I meant Buffalo. I said Buffalo. I meant Buffalo, but like still they don't have the horses. So that's why I think, Singletary and Breida get hella touches on Monday.
It would be a welcome sight, I'm sure. You know who's going to end up running most of the game? Probably Josh Allen.
Running for his life.
Right. Let's get into these locks. Shawn, you have a 1-game lead on me. You were sitting at 13-9. You picked the Rams to lose to Green Bay, but the Eagles let you down. They didn't get the job done against the Giants, which would have been a great game for them to get back to 500.
Right. I thought that was a gimme game.
Yeah. I picked the Titans to lose to the Pats, but Carolina let me down. I got excited. See what happens? Carolina fans, I got excited. and they let me down. So I'm sitting at 12-10. I'm a game back.
Right.
Well, Mr. First Place, where would you like to start? You want to go winner or loser first?
Oof. Let's go winner. Let's go winner.
All right,
And I am going to go. I think I'm going to I don't know what just struck me out about this game, but I think I'm gonna put this team to bed right now, regardless of the Monday night. And I'm going San Fran. I'm believing in San Fran right now. I'm going to with them to win against Seattle on the road. So statement game for Seattle or for San Francisco. If they get this, they all the way back. They all the way back. I said they were going to be the number 2 seed, so gotta start living up to it.
All right. I got the Bengals beating the Chargers. Yeah, how about that for Chargers homer over here? Yeah.
Damn, all right. Baby Burrow.
Yeah, I just think Burrow and the Bengals are in a better spot. And this is the type of game they have to win if they want to be taken seriously, take that next step in the AFC.
Yeah.
So got like Bengals over Chargers.
Bengals over Chargers. I was a little bit of in shock. All right. So next up, we are going loser. And no, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Saints, I won't do it to you.
You want to though.
I want to. I think talking about a team that's done, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this as well. I'm going with the Steelers. Steelers to lose against Baltimore.
All right.
Yeah. Who you got, man? What you
I had Seattle loses to the 49ers, so I agreed with you on that one.
Wow,
but I'm gonna pick a different just for the sake of variety.
Right. Yeah.
I will go. I'm gonna hope the universe makes my wife a happy lady. I'm going Denver loses to Kansas City this week.
I could really see that happen. I could see it. I don't want it to happen, obviously, but I can see it because isn't Kansas City coming off a bye? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they're gonna know everything about that Denver run game and how in the world they can try to stop it.
Yep, they're gonna they'll know everything, including what they have for Thanksgiving.
Right. I don't think Arizona's gonna lose to Chicago. Minnesota's probably gonna beat Detroit. That Miami Giants game's intriguing.
It is. I think the Giants they did just get a win. They did just get a win. I think Miami gets it done there. And there's a lot of gimme games.
Like I was thinking, if they weren't at home, if they were at Washington, I would pick Vegas to lose to Washington. Just for sheer chaos sakes.
Yeah.
But at home in the Death Star.
Yeah. They'll probably get it, especially coming off a big win for a homecoming back home. Yeah, they'll probably get that win. Yeah. I want to see Washington might be saucy. They are getting Logan Thomas back, so
Heineke's playing for that contract.
He is. I mean, money's the motivator, man.
Heineke's trying to let them know I am the quarterback here.
He trying. Will he succeed though? I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know.
All right. Well, Shawn, that's our show. Where can they find you on social media?
I can knock the mic down. At the Kid Suds on Twitter, at nickel_Dom FB on Twitter, and at the illustrious nickel_Dom Football on Instagram, your favorite social platform.
Yes, sir.
Drew, where can they find you at, man?
I Laugh with Harrison on Instagram because that's the only one I really bother with anymore these days. Check me out on Twitter at Harrison_comedy. I feel like I put some fun sports stuff out there that no one sees. So, hey, Twitter.
It's
not Facebook. It's the only thing it's not going for it. I hate Facebook. It needs to just
we were just talking about that. Like if your main platform that you post stuff on is Facebook, red flag.
Yeah, big old flag.
Yeah,
big old flag. The Panthers offense right now. Oh, hey, there we go. I had to get one more in there. But for real, y'all send me your scouting reports for quarterbacks this upcoming draft, because I need to read them. I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next week.